So I joined the company I'm just leaving February 8, 2020. That was the company on the very first day I was hired. They just said, hey, by the way, we're going to have a layoff. And I was like, what the hell? What? You never told me that. That was information I need to know. And then we pay decrease in July. Before I contacted you, I knew the pay decrease was coming and I was like, I can't do this. So that's when I got serious, was in July. And then it slowed down for me probably about mid-October. I was just like, I had too much stuff. I had to finish a thesis. I can make excuses, but I didn't have any time. And it got to where I didn't even want to give you guys an update. So I was like, every time I was giving an update, he was getting a lot of red tape and he's like, I'm sorry, this is really going to happen. I never stopped looking for jobs though, so. Yeah. What I was doing wasn't working. You're doing good and you think you're doing good. No one's contacting you back, even on quick apply, even when you know you're applying to a recruiting agency, not really the company. And you're getting no response, no feedback. At that point too, I had exhausted my own network to the extent that I knew. I had exhausted my network and I was like, my immediate, super close, tight-knit friends, they don't know anybody. So I don't know what else to do. And the other thing that got frustrating too is the whole, I'm gonna go to the website, I'm gonna go to their applicant tracking system and spend 45 minutes of my life filling out information that's already on my resume. And I was like, my God, I think I saw your ad on LinkedIn. Not your ad, but I saw a post. Someone that I follow had liked something that I read that Tim had posted. I didn't search you in Google or anything like that. And then I saw, how big of a following you had. And then I went to the website and I was like, okay, this looks legit. I went through all the training videos, up through the meetings that had happened before I was a part of it. I didn't do those, but all those training videos I watched in earnest. I paid attention. They weren't background noise. I listened to everything that was said. Tim has a mindset that's very similar to mine. He's better at it than I am because he does this all the time. Everything he was saying, I was just like, yep, he's right. Yep, he's right. So it was very easy for me to buy in. I think having the meetings, obviously the coaching meetings, and then learning how that you want to let the other people do the talking. You know what I mean? You don't have to always do the talking. You can put it back on them because people love to talk. The ways that I was approaching the elevator pitch, about who you are and why you're good. I think that's the most important thing of almost probably anything I learned. I remember some of those nights where I was spending like 3 and 4 hours at 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock, just sitting over at the kitchen table, doing this stuff, reaching out, making these contacts. And I am not shy at all. What I don't like to be is I don't like to come across as salesy, and I got over that. It's like, just get over it. Get over yourself. When you do that, you make a lot of assumptions about people that are incorrect, and half the time people are actually willing to help you. The CIO at Jack Henry and Associates, I don't know if you've ever heard of that company. They're a massive software company for banking. They did not have an opening. I reached out to the CIO there. He said, you know what? He accepted the invite and he actually replied to me and said he wanted to meet with me. They don't have any job openings. I was like, okay. I was shocked that he wanted to meet with me. So we get on this call and he's like, I just wanted to talk with you because you had the guts to reach out to me. And he goes, I figured if someone had the guts to reach out to me, it was probably worth my time to take some time to talk to him. And so we sat there and talked for like 45 minutes and it ended up wrapping up where, hey, if you ever see a job at my company that you're interested in, contact me directly and I'll put you in touch with the right person. I have a huge organization. And this guy had no idea, obviously, who I am. But actually, I had that happen twice. I'd have to look at my spreadsheet to see the other C-level person that didn't have a job opening, but they were more than willing to talk to me to network. Those posts, you'd be surprised how many, even though they're not super fancy or anything, I get people contacting me on direct messages all the time because of the stuff that I'm throwing up there, and it just has to do with leadership or whatever. I was surprised by how many people actually read those and take the time, even if they don't comment publicly, because a lot of people don't like to publicly comment, but I'll get private messages all the time, or you'll see people from your past that you didn't even know you had an impact come on. And someone did that yesterday, in fact. She goes, I love when you make posts. I was just like, wow. I mean, it was pretty, and that was just the day before yesterday. So that's something I'm going to continue to do though. Like I'll never stop doing that now. That's just going to be a part of what I do. It wasn't someone in my this is someone from 30 years ago in my past, and apparently painted such a good picture of me, probably even better than I would have presented myself, that by the time the guy contacted me, he wanted to interview me for an hour and a half while he was between jobs for a position that didn't exist. By the time we were done, basically offered me a job back in July and said, I'm going to make this happen. And I just happened to get hooked up with the right guy that actually kept his word, right? How many times has that not happened? I kind of have to go by the adage of what my dad taught me back in Vegas was you have to spend money to make money. You're not going to get any return from anything you do until you make the investment first. So I made the investment and it was a tough decision. No one wants to put down a big chunk of money on something that's a quote unknown. But the advantage to that is when you do that, now you're invested, you have skin in the game. So now you have every reason as to why it needs to be successful. It makes you not be lazy. But I knew that I needed to invest in myself, which I never do. I buy stuff for other people, even in my own life. I'll get something for her, my wife, whatever. My wife has to go buy me stuff like underwear and socks. I don't do that for myself, right? So if you invest in yourself, if you spend the money, you know, you're a lot more likely to make it happen. And I just think that that was key for me. And I definitely got a ton out of it. I really did.